Hi, my name is Nikki Rowe. I'm an Academy Admiral nurse with Dementia UK. Before this role, I was an Admiral nurse working for the Orders of St John Care Trust, where I co-facilitated a dementia choir. I was fortunate to have worked alongside Mindsong, which is a Gloucestershire-based music therapy charity. Together, we formed the dementia choir called Sing to Remember. Today, I'm going to discuss with you how music can be used as a therapeutic intervention to benefit the lives of people living with dementia and their carers. In my early nursing career, I witnessed a resident who had not verbally communicated for the past 2 years sing a song from start to end and could verbalise every word. He could remember the words and sing them to a tune. His family informed me that he had made attempts at speaking words, but they could not understand him. This led to real frustration from both sides. Using a song that was meaningful to him was the key to him being able to use his voice and tap into what he could do and not focus on what he couldn't do. There is a dementia choir that sings together weekly and continues now. There's no auditions and no judgment. Everyone uses first names and no one knows which members are living with dementia and which are their carers. Members are encouraged to select which songs they would like to sing from a large choice. It's held at a local church hall, but not associated with any religion or faith. Mindsong bring many volunteers who not only help to lead the singing, but positively interact with carers and cared for to ensure everyone feels welcome. Carer support at each meeting, which was actually my role. Although I joined in with the choir, so I was part of the group, I was also there to provide emotional and practical support to carers afterwards. There was friendship and support between the members, and the peer support was evident. Although it was a dementia choir, it's about so much more than singing. I have a YouTube clip to show you that was made by Mindsong. It will clearly demonstrate the benefits of a music intervention.
Can we remember, we're going to just do as a warm-up song. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic.
About 3 years ago, we had an event bringing people together who were living at home with dementia and their carers. And it was an event that was organised by the Admiral nurse, Nikki Rowe, by the Churn Project and by us, Mindsong, with the support of the Ashcroft Community Centre. And it was such a success, this one-off event. It was apparent that there was such a need for people to come together and sing and chat and make friends that we decided to form a regular group.
I'm Nikki Rowe and I'm an Admiral nurse, which is a dementia specialist nurse. My role actually is in the community, so I work in the community of Cirencester and Tetbury. So I come and support Mindsong at Sing to Remember approximately every 6 to 8 weeks. And my role when I'm here is bringing the dementia support.
We have a carer supporter at each singing session. People come and sing as a couple usually, and the person with dementia sings with us, as usually does their partner. But if the carer needs support, there's somebody that they can go and chat with, either while we're singing or after the singing while people are having a cup of tea. And that, particularly over the last 3 years, has become a complete lifeline to people.
Every morning you breathe, soul and mind.
My name's Claire Burke. I started to sing in one of Kate's choirs when I was teaching. She mentioned, Mind Song, and I got involved with this, the Ashcroft Centre, a lovely supportive group of volunteers like me who turn up every couple of weeks to sing with a group of people, some of whom have dementia. And it's an amazing thing for those of us who haven't worked with older people, people with dementia for sure, to understand where they pull the lyrics from. I remember singing and talking to a son of a lady who was singing here, and he said, "How does she know all the words to Frere Jacques? I can't get her to speak." And it was just one of those amazing moments, and I realised what they do say about singing.
My name is Philippa, and this is my daughter.
And I'm Jill.
Been there quite a while now, haven't we? It's good fun, so I like coming.
The other thing that I really enjoy here is getting to meet other people. When you're here, you get a chance to actually chat to somebody. And I've had occasion where people have rung me up to be sure that I'm okay if I've had a rough week or whatever, which is lovely.
And like my dreams, they fade and die. Oh, you always find me. I'm a living man. I'm forever going on, raising my hope in the air.
Mind Song is extremely important in our community. I've seen such evidence of increased well-being for families that have been part of Mind Song and Sing to Remember and the services, that Mind Song bring.
I feel like I've been given a really special thing that lasts for 2 or 3 days sometimes, which is really lovely.
The difference in mood sometimes between coming and leaving can be really quite marked. And it will last for a day or two. And then looking forward to the next one, you get that build up.
When I'm working with a family, often it's around behaviours and symptoms of dementia, and families are looking for support on how to make things better, so better quality of life, improve well-being, reduce anxiety. It's really good to be able to signpost people here as part of a sort of a package of well-being, really.
And the nice thing about this group is we just sing together. We have no accompaniment, it's voice to voice. And one of the members said to me last session, which I think was a really lovely thing to say, if somebody comes with an instrument, I think, I can't do that. So I already feel less than them. But when we sing together, he said, it's our spirits coming together. And it was such a lovely thought that there's no barrier. So singing together, it's soul to soul. And it really feels like that when you're singing together. We now have groups in Gloucester area, Cheltenham area, and North Cotswolds, as well as our online and Cirencester groups. And our hope is to get them in every area of the county. Because there's a need, there isn't enough for people to do, which is about community, about singing, about memory, and about support for the carers. So it fills a really distinct need.
I just love it. I've always loved singing. I remember singing when I was in the infants at school. So that goes back a while.
I like she's coming around the mountain when she comes.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. We do that very well, very loudly.
One of the really important things that I've noticed is the reporting about dementia, and the general conversation is often very sad. It's often very, talking about suffering and loss and endings. And what we see in this group is beginnings. People find new friendships. We've seen the people living with dementia make friends. They always want to sit next to their friend and they chat and they communicate and then they see each other at other events around town. And I really want people to know that it's not all about losing things, losing your memories, losing your family, being lost. It can be about finding things and really cheerful things like new friendships.
So there's a lot of thoughts and suggestions about the benefits of music for people living with dementia and how this positively affects well-being. Grace Meadows, who's the director of Music for Dementia, says there's a robust and growing evidence base supporting the benefits of music for people living with dementia, demonstrating its impact and value and giving us hope for those living with the condition. She goes on to say that there is no pharmacological answer to dementia. I feel strongly that we have a moral, societal, and human obligation to support people living with dementia and their carers to have a quality of life that enables them to be able to be connected, maintain their sense of self, put them in touch with the world around them, and be able to express themselves creatively and beyond. And I feel really strongly that music is a powerful therapeutic intervention. I think most of us can think of a song or piece of music that has a special meaning or memory for us, and hearing it can immediately stir a memory of an emotion felt at that certain time of our lives. And that's no different for people living with dementia, and as they often have a really good long-term memory, hearing music from their younger days is often even more prevalent to them. Music as a therapeutic intervention must be emotionally meaningful to a person, and this is what makes it person-centred. We can all hear a piece of music and enjoy it, but this does not necessarily make it meaningful. For music to be meaningful, it must have an emotional content. When we talk about music, this does not just have to be a song or a piece of music in the traditional sense. It could be bird song, the sound of a train, or children playing. This will depend on what is meaningful to the person. The use of therapeutic interventions, such as music, can be used as a non-pharmacological approach to achieving and maintaining well-being for a person living with dementia, and that has to be worth a try. So what are the benefits of music to a person living with dementia? Well, the obvious benefit to a person living with dementia is an increase in overall well-being, which can be observed in a number of ways. During the therapeutic intervention, a person living with dementia is likely to engage by joining in with the singing, clapping, tapping, or even dancing, depending on their ability. This releases endorphins, which give them a feeling of being lighter that can reduce stress. Endorphins can also give an analgesic type effect, which is beneficial to anyone with any pain, and that can be physical or emotional. As many music interventions are done with others, another benefit is also the social interaction this brings. Listening to a piece of music with someone else often involves singing and sharing that moment with another person, which evokes a sense of togetherness and unity, which often leads to a connection. There is also a more lasting effect, which can be felt for days or even longer. There are physical effects such as sleeping better and an increased appetite. There are emotional benefits such as improved mood and a decrease in anxiety, which can lead onto fewer episodes of distress reactions. This is really important as anxiety and low mood are symptoms that many people living with dementia face daily. This is something that I noticed with Sing to Remember Dementia Choir. As carers would express that after the session, their loved ones were often less anxious and less distressed. It is possible that music as a therapeutic intervention could lead on to a reduction in antipsychotic medication being needed for behaviours and psychological symptoms of dementia. Well-being benefits can last for days afterwards, or even if the person does not remember the event itself. So what are the benefits to the carers? Well, all of the above, really, all that we've just discussed. Carers will often say that the physical act of singing will release stress and increase mood for them too. The benefits of this can be a reduction in depression or low mood for the carer. Carers often report that they feel closer to the person living with dementia following a music intervention, as they are enjoying their company rather than feeling the demand and responsibility providing care for them. Also, seeing their loved one happy when they often deal with the ill-being side of dementia is a great boost to their self-worth as a carer. As we mentioned earlier, a person living with dementia will often be less anxious and have an increased mood following a music intervention. One of the benefits that carers state is that their loved one can be easier and more pleasant to care for due to the reduction of that stress and low mood. Therefore, this has a positive effect on them too. If the music intervention is carried out in a group setting where there are other carers present, such as at a dementia choir, carers will often express that they gain peer support from other carers. This is often about meeting others in a similar situation to yourself and being seen and understood by them. This often leads to friendship and ongoing support in a really challenging role. How to use music as a therapeutic intervention when caring for a person living with dementia. Music as a therapeutic intervention may be about a group activity such as a dementia choir, but it does not have to be, and that's not for everyone. It might be a more informal activity such as listening to music on the radio, or even a discussion on music that they enjoy. It can be a great way to introduce reminiscence. As we are all different, so are people living with dementia. Taking into account their preferences and abilities is key here. There are several practical ways to do that. As an everyday activity, so having music on in the car, during meal times, or during personal care, for example, can be used to promote a calming environment, which may otherwise be really anxiety provoking for the person living with dementia. Think about setting the scene with a loved one, ensuring you use music that they love and respond to. You may need to consider if the music is soft and calming or more upbeat and energetic. There's also online resources. There's a lot of online resources available which are free and give access to everyone, such as BBC Music Memories or Music for Dementia. These resources can be great if the person with dementia is unable to go out. These can be listened to on their own or with a loved one. They may be particularly therapeutic at times of illness or at the end of their life. There's local groups. Many communities have dementia music groups, such as Singing for the Brain, which is run by the Alzheimer's Society. This can be a really good social activity where the person living with dementia and the carer are made welcome and enjoy the company of others. There's also an auditory life story or reminiscence. Reminiscence is a really good well-being activity, especially for those with a sharp long-term memory, tapping into emotional experiences from the past. is regularly used in dementia care as it focuses on getting to know the person for who they are and their personal story, which ensures person-centred care. Go hand in hand, and I'm going to explain how an auditory life story is the perfect way to incorporate both. So an auditory life story is a way to formulate reminiscence into a music intervention. It's a life story playlist. Playlist for Life is a music and dementia charity. The charity was founded in 2013 by writer and broadcaster Sally Magnuson after the death of her mother, who had dementia. Sally says, "Our vision is simple. We want everyone with dementia to have a unique, personalised playlist, and everyone who cares or loves them to know how to use it." You can easily find Playlist for Life online, and if you get the chance to do the simple training program, it's definitely worth it. Playlist for Life advises that using the following 3 categories, anyone can develop an auditory life story. Here are those categories. So the memory bump. It's suggested that we create more memories between the age of 10 and 30 than any other times of our lives. So think about music from this era to get started. Most of us can instantly think of a song from our teenage years that has an emotional response and will likely stay with us till the end of our days. These are often songs that come on the radio and you immediately respond to. If the person living with dementia is unable to tell you, then you can guesstimate this era of music from their age. The second category is inheritance tracks. This is music and songs we inherit from other people. This is often music that we have heard all of our lives, passed down from family members, such as parents and grandparents. This would include music from our childhood, perhaps a lullaby that your parents sang to you and you sing to your children, or songs from school that you can remember every word, or a song that you sing with your family on special occasions. The third category is identity tracks. Music can be associated with aspects of our identity, such as culture, faith, and other areas of belonging. This may include music related to personal beliefs, political parties, or even a sports anthem. For example, You'll Never Walk Alone for a Liverpool football fan. What about sad memories? Music evokes all emotions, and some of these can be sad, such as music related to death of a loved one or a person's life. I would advise, in general, trying to avoid music that you know could cause distress or upset. However, that is not always possible, and we all have to express sad emotion too. The important thing here is to ensure that the person living with dementia has someone to support them if this happens. Think about an auditory life story for yourself. What songs give you an emotional response? Can you think of a song or a piece of music from your memory bump, inheritance track, or identity track? It's no different for a person living with dementia, except that they may need a bit of help to access theirs. We have discussed using music as a therapeutic intervention for people living with dementia and their carers. I feel strongly that music is such a powerful therapeutic intervention and have been lucky enough to witness this. I encourage you to think about how using a therapeutic intervention like music can significantly improve the well-being of people living with dementia and their carers. If you have any questions, please ask.